It will indeed. It's a unique roster that the Georgia Bulldogs have, number one in the country. They're led not by a superstar quarterback. They're led by a JUCO transfer who just kind of hung around, and got the opportunity to play. His name is Stetson Bennett, and he threw for over 3,400 yards this season, 20 touchdowns, got a couple of running backs. But Georgia builds its reputation on defense, and they are rock solid. Even though they had 7 of their defensive starters from a year ago, John, go to the National Football League, they are still really good. Bennett now manages games, but Bennett makes enough plays down the field to throw for 3,400 yards. Georgia, really tough football team. Please answer the question for me, Ohio State. What kind of team are they? Because C.J. Stroud, their star quarterback, put up unbelievable numbers a year ago. This year was en route to a pretty good season, and he lost his top 3 running backs. They were in and out of the lineup with injuries, and 2 of them had surgery. He's not been as dynamic down the field making plays. And the Buckeyes have a bad taste in their mouth because, John, what happened in that Michigan game? They got stomped. They gave up 4 monster plays defensively when they lost at home to Jim Harbaugh's Wolverines. And I can't get that memory out of my mind of the touchdown plays that were 50, 73, 75, and 85 yards, most of them in the second half, when Ohio State just blitzed Michigan. So the Buckeyes versus the Bulldogs will be really intriguing. Will Ohio State be able to move the ball against the dog defense? Because not very many people have. And conversely, what does Georgia do? Which is the real Ohio State defense, the one we saw most of the season, or the one we saw get its brains blown out in the last game of the season against Michigan? If you're asking me, I still think there's way too much firepower at Ohio State. But boy, if they turn the ball over like they did against Michigan, they're going to get beat. I just don't know that the Bulldogs have enough offense to keep up in what might be a track meet from Ohio State. And your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's both teams are loaded. I'm actually rooting for the Bulldogs on this. I mean, I'm sick and tired of Ohio State. I mean, they're always there. I mean, thank God Alabama isn't in the Final Four either. But I was really happy when Harbaugh knocked off the Buckeyes, take them down a few pegs a little bit. And I know you got your Bearcats jersey on right now, so I'm not a huge Buckeye fan, and so I'll be rooting for the Bulldogs, and we'll see what happens in this big game.
Now, give Georgia credit, though, John. Georgia beat Oregon 49-3 in the first game of the season. Now, I know that's back in September, but they also beat Tennessee when Tennessee was ranked number 1. They beat LSU at the end of the year when Brian Kelly's team was red hot, and then they stomped Mississippi State. So Georgia's a proven commodity. And, of course, for Ohio State, the end of the season just really leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So the Buckeyes have got something to prove.